that long day behind you. Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to the tavern. I'm Travis. Grab your drinks and spank your skinks. I don't know. What do I got today? I get a pipe, I get whiskey, and I get water, and I get a woman. Andrea, what do you got?
You do.
Okay, Andrea LeChat here. So, I got my tea in my wine glass because I am fancy. How about you, Ed?
Hey, folks, it's me, Ed, and I have Woodford Reserve Sonoma Triple Finish. It's really yummy. They take a bourbon, they finish it in the oak barrel, and then they dump it in a Pinot Noir barrel. Yum. Finishing that for a little while, and then they dump it in a bourbon barrel, not bourbon,
Port?
brandy barrel. That other B, yeah. And they finish in that for a while, and it's really, really delicious.
I dump it in a
This
bitch
is
barrel.
my last bottle, and I'll never be able to get another one.
Why not?
It's one of their specialty once a year thing. I think this was the 2022 special. So yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you hit it when I was there.
There'll be plenty left when you get here in May because I don't drink it that often.
Okay. It might be one of those things we could do a couple of those pairing videos that we're talking about. The threesome videos.
Yeah,
So,
we'll do some threesomes with this for sure.
yeah, because that will actually allow us to set up the... Anyhow,
Yeah,
that's
couple
for
drinks.
advertisements on social media, folks, just so you know.
Yeah. Sure, you can tell them that.
We had to have 9 drinks. It was horrible. So, before we get into the topic du jour, so this past weekend, no matter when you hear this podcast, this past weekend was the March 2025 time change where we live. And we live in the country. And it was just like redneck fest. It's like they made it a redneck holiday for this thing. We worked that day, working a little overtime, getting ahead on things. We're coming home. There's an ATV zooming down the road towards us. And the guy is either no shirt or like an 80s sleeveless mesh shirt with orange football shoulder pads on and a backpack. And cut off jean shorts.
That's some deliverance shit right there, man.
And he just zooms by and he waves. So we wave. We never know if that's a good idea or not, but I am what
Always
I am.
wave.
Is that the answer? I will take it from I'll take it from the black man.
Yeah.
When I lived in New
People
York,
out here are pretty friendly anyway. It's okay.
especially at night when there's a band show. So yeah, we pull in, we settle in for the evening, and we can hear some gunshots going off. We're not worried about it. Like I said, we live in the country. People hunt. People sometimes target shoot at their homes. And as it goes on for the next few hours, there's more gunshots and more gunshots. And there, again, we're pretty sure it's target practice. Soon enough, it's 10:45 at night. We got to be up at 5 a.m. So we're in bed trying to fall asleep, and there's still gunshots, and you can now hear somebody else found an ATV, and they're racing it up and down the road, and you can hear...
Maybe they were dueling. Who knows?
Jousting. Redneck jousting.
Yeah.
It was like Saturday night at the races with firearms. Fucking crazy.
I'm sure it's a new sport, man.
it would not be so bad if we were not going to lose an hour because of time change.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. If it was 9:45 we had that, we'd be like, oh goddamn. But yeah, 10:45. And also, here's the deal: you don't go out and yell at them when they're firing guns and racing ATVs.
No, bad idea. Yeah.
In fact, you turn off the lights and you stay very still. That's always best. Okay.
They were just hunting rabbit.
They were doing what to the rabbit?
Hunting rabbit.
Hunting. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not the word I wanted to. I mean, I thought I heard. You're staring at the bunny. You got a purty mouth.
Hey, boy.
Oh my goodness.
I
Sure
saw.
look good in them jeans.
Goonie goo goo. I was thinking about that the other day. Good Andrea's face. Anyhow, hey, speaking of putting things in your mouth, Ed, I think you had a topic you wanted to lead in.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing them watching the rabbit with the carrot going, oh God, he bites.
Look at that. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about plastic in your penis. And actually, this topic was Andrea's idea. She posted it several months ago about plastic being found. She doesn't even remember. She doesn't remember.
In my penis?
Plastic in men's penises. Well,
Oh,
I don't know.
okay,
I
not
don't know
mine.
what kind of penises you have in your house. I mean, I'm not judging if you got plastic penises in your house, or steel ones, or glass ones even. But
Hey,
I'm not
sweetie,
judging.
all I do is I request do not put plastic in my penis.
Yeah. Well, it may already be there, because when she posted it, I decided to do a little research, and I wish I could find the brilliant article that I found 4 months ago, but of course I can't.
Of
So
course.
I had to put a hodgepodge of shit here together. And before I get to the plastic and the penis, I'm going to talk about evil plastic, because it's all around us and we think it's such a great thing, and it's really not. Um,
What is
70
evil plastic?
all of it, all fucking plastic is
I'm
evil.
imagining it's what the
It's
kid
evil.
found at the end of the Time Bandits movie in the
If
toaster
they're
oven.
like gonna take over the world.
And one-time use plastic are the worst, and it's really crazy. These states that outlaw plastic straws and shit. But
Okay,
you go in the grocery store, your butter's in a plastic container,
right.
your milk's in a plastic container,
Are you
and
saying outlawing straws is a bad idea?
why is it a good idea? How does it help us?
It's going into the ocean where we dump, a lot of our trash, and it's killing animals as they choke on it. They cannot deep
Not,
throat a straw go well.
but not just the straws. Okay, going into the ocean. Glad you said that. Okay, 14 million tons of plastic ends up in our oceans each year.
Wait, 14 million
Million tons, American
new
tons,
American. That's American. That's not even
um,
worldwide.
not metric tons, American tons.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. But it's now, is that new or is that just what's collected? Like, for example, is that 50 years of plastic collecting, or are
nope,
we dumping 40
14
million
million tons a year. Go ahead,
new?
So
Andrea.
I thought they were recycling all that plastic, not just throwing it into the mermaid.
I know a
How
little of that.
about that? How about that? And that's what we all think, because that's what BP sold us on back in the 50s, when they decided, hey, we can take oil and make plastic out
Right.
of it. They sold us on the recycling idea. 79% of plastics ever made is still laying in a landfill somewhere.
And Ed, I don't know if you have this in your research, but a
Go
lot
ahead,
of times
give me some shit.
we are actually shipping trash to India or other countries to
Hmm.
dump it in their
To dump
landfills.
it in their landfill.
And a lot of that is lost at sea along the way.
Yep.
That's old knowledge of mine. And when I say old, 15, 20 years old. So this is not like, oh, this is new. No, no, it's not.
So if it's lost at sea, is it like Castaway where he's on the plank floating, Wilson?
Yeah, kind of like that. Every time FedEx goes down and loses a plane, it's a bunch of plastic that goes in the ocean. You know,
And
but
polyester, because seats, which By the
Yeah,
way,
that too.
polyester is plastic.
Is
Just
past
in
is
case,
plastic. Yeah.
yeah. Now,
Yeah.
Naga hide, that comes from real Nagas.
Yeah.
Little baby Nagas. Yeah. I looked for them in the zoo. I never could find them.
Baby,
I
that's
guess they
because
got
they, yeah.
Skinning them
they're
all for
shy. I guess they hide them away because they're shy.
no, they're skinning them all for their hide.
Yeah, they're very rare now. We can only make like cat couches out of them now.
They're almost extinct now. Okay, I got it. But yeah, talk about recycling. The world produces 400 million tons of plastic each year.
Oh, God.
10% of it is recycled.
And here's the great thing is, we put it all in plastic bags
Throw
to throw it
it
away.
away.
Hold on, I'm doing that math.
So is it not recycled because people are not putting it in the recycle bin? Or this is what I heard, I'm not sure if it's true, it is cheaper just to get new stuff or make new stuff
You are
instead of recycling it.
absolutely correct. It is cheaper to make it new than it is to recycle it. And people don't put it in the recycling bins. Hey, Maria. Good to see you, girl.
One of our late
She-
live viewers just came in. What were you saying, Ed? About Maria?
About Maria?
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Oh, good answer. Well done.
Haven't you heard the song? The most beautiful girl in the world is Maria.
I heard the
really
song
dating
about
myself
I
right
just
now.
met a girl named Maria.
West Side Story.
Very good, very good. Man knows his musicals. What about Shapoopy? Do you know what musical that's from?
Oh, I thought that was a plastic.
Andrea now knows what musical that's
Music
from.
Man.
Very
Music
good.
Man.
Very good. It was performed by Buddy Hackett, by the way, who did all these Disney movies, including the Herbie the Love Bug movies. But if you ever saw his stand-up, so filthy. Go look up the
Yeah.
Fish Fucker skit. Or not skit, but clip. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adorable little fat man, filthy motherfucker.
Kind of like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Perfectly you.
Except he's got more money. He ain't even alive anymore. He's still got more money.
Yeah. That's the sad part. And I bet
So
you he had some
recycling.
plastic in his wallet too.
Mm.
He's probably buried in a Rubbermaid or Tupperware. Probably Tupperware considering his age.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in the middle of an interesting factoid, and I don't even remember what it was. Hopefully you got your finger on your notes.
Recycle.
Oh, yeah.
Recycle, only 10% is ever recycled. And as Andrea said, it's cheaper to make it new than it is to recycle it.
I have a question about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So back in the day, I'm talking about the 40s, before plastic, we started recycling newspaper, rubber, metal. War ended into the 50s. We're now being paid to recycle. They are paying us to bring them things, and recycled items were cheaper to buy a item with recycled, whether it was paper or, again, metal, rubber, glass.
But not plastic.
Well, we started recycling ish plastic in what, the late 80s, early 90s, when it started to catch
70s, 80s, I think it was. But
Hmm.
but here's the thing. We had, I'm really going to date myself now, a glass pop bottle.
Yeah. And we'll probably be
that
going
bitch
back
up
to them.
out of the ditch, you took it back to the store, they gave you a nickel, and you bought 5 pieces of penny candy.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
But not all states did that.
And by the way, that fucking soda bottle only cost, depending what year it was, when I was growing up, either a dime or a quarter. For that, I guess they were 16-ounce bottles, weren't they? They were long 16, and thin.
12, 16, somewhere in there, yeah.
It's and they were thick. This kind of bottle.
They were thick.
Well, and now, so we used to get paid to recycle products, the packaging. Now we have to pay for them to take the recycling
to take it away,
to go be recycled.
Right.
So a lot of people don't want to do that.
What changed is what my question was. Why that switch over? When did that happen and why?
Greed.
Yeah.
God damn it. It's because humans are involved again, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not the Nagas.
God damn it.
Yeah.
The Nagas care about yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. No, this is a good point. Maria dropped in there. Depends on where you are, though. We get charged if we don't recycle, which I feel like that's a reasonable middle ground.
We used to
So
kind of sort of have that here in some localities where you lived years ago, a couple decades ago. If you didn't separate out your trash, you could be fined. Yeah, but that went
now
away.
Maria is in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's different than the US. I know
Yeah.
even over in the UK, it's different. They recycle, they even have compost bins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they also have
Mm-hmm.
like 5 different trash cans outside of their house where this is glass, this is paper, this is trash,
This
and
is
don't
yeah.
put your trash in a trash bag. And I think Maria in
Right.
Canada, she has to put hers in clear bags so they could see everything in it to make sure you're not throwing things away that you shouldn't
Right.
or didn't sort them
Correct. That's
properly.
right.
If
But a
I
lot of people don't even want to do that here. It's I think that sounds I think that's what we should implement here, but again,
money.
Money.
By the way, we have another viewer in chat who's in Australia right now. Tal, if you have a moment, just let us know how it's done in Australia because I'm super curious different places around the world. Because I think a lot of people forget, as
I know.
great as America is, there are some countries that are doing other things so much better than we do it here.
Yeah. The strange thing is, though, a lot of Maria just said we have compost bins as well. As Travis was alluding to earlier, we used to recycle the hell out of shit here just in our home 50
Right?
years ago.
Right.
Okay. An envelope didn't go in the trash.
Mm,
That was now scrap paper to take notes on when you answered the phone and spoke to someone. You
it's
know.
true. Yeah.
but now we got cell phones and nobody answers the phone, they all text.
Or you put your shopping list on the envelope. Well, now I put my shopping list on my cell phone, which is made of plastic, but
So
And platinum.
also,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
speaking of phone, they make them out like I would still have my very first phone if it would still work. But after so many years, they make it so it's obsolete, nothing works, you can't do shit. So you have to get a new phone.
Let me help you out with this. Actually, let me tell you a really piss poor story about this. I think it was 2013. A company came out that started making cell phones. Every single piece of that cell phone was replaceable. You could purchase a cell phone. When the battery wore out, you get a new one. When the
Yes.
glass cracked, you get a new one. When the motherboard failed, you get a new one. If that little plug doesn't plug in anymore, here's a new one. And you could
Hmm.
put it all back together yourself. Didn't even have to pay anyone.
Hmm.
Then,
Now, battery, we can't get it.
well, that's exactly what happened next. This company, as far as I know, disappeared, and suddenly you can't even change the battery in your cell phone anymore.
Right. Right.
The fuck happened?
Greed.
Greed. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's answer for
One of the bigger companies probably bought that company out and
shut it up.
shut it up. Yeah.
Or used its ideas to help improve their cell phone to make cheaper parts that are then, did.
So you can get refurbished, but you can't do it yourself.
Right.
And
Having
it's still like
somebody.
$900.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. See, Maria says, miss my iPhone 5S. Had it for 6 years before it bit the dust. I knew
Same
some,
here.
yeah, and I knew a lot of people like that, 6+ years.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I don't think it was just iPhones. Though I think iPhones did excel compared to a lot of the other Android phones and whatnot. It used to be you upgraded not because your phone wore out, but because the new phones had so many new features
New features. Yeah.
that it was
Yeah.
worth it to you to upgrade. And by the way, why does
But you didn't have to.
why does cell phones cost more than a damn desktop computer now?
Because it's a hand computer.
Because consumers pay for it.
It's a crazy answer. Wouldn't that be wild if
But
we
it's
actually...
true.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Again, it's greed. They have...
Yeah.
We're going way off tangent here. We'll get right back to the
Oh,
actual...
no, go ahead, because yeah, it's if we would stop buying them, the price will come down.
But yeah, the marketing to this, that fear of missing out,
Hmm.
you always have to have the latest and greatest. You're sexier if you have a newer item and all that shit. I'm sexy if I could pay my mortgage and my car payment. That's how I come out as sexy.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
looking
Then
good, baby.
I have a place for those oil and spoil parties. Oil and soil party?
What?
Whatever.
What?
Fuck that.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
I knew what you were saying. Mm.
Mm. All I see is on the screen, Tal's like, yeah, I'm not paying for that.
Good timing there.
Right?
Now, as I'm sitting here drinking my ginger ale out of my plastic water bottle, this is probably the biggest one. Americans purchase 50 billion water bottles a year. 50 billion.
Yeah.
We've tried to curb that a little bit in our house. I know a lot of people, especially people that are city dwellers, say they buy bottled water because the bad taste of the city water. Um, I'm on a well, so we tend to put water in a pitcher and clean canteen or whatever and put it in the refrigerator and drink it.
But instead of buying the 24-pack of water, we bought the 5-gallon bottle of water and put it on the dispenser.
Hmm.
So now we could fill our, not that we don't have plastic, because we got plenty of plastic things, but they're reusable.
Hmm.
And we're filling those and taking them to work.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Because we can't. It's not feasible to have glass bottles on the production floor.
Clean canteen. It's metal.
there have been
And you
enough
can use it as
times.
a weapon.
Huh. Actually, no, that's a fair point. Now I have to ask this. Do they have, and I know they do, I know the answer is yes, but let me ask, do they have metal water bottles that are shaped like a water bottle instead of a canteen that's, just kind of like a big
Yeah,
teardrop?
They
I
do.
can't believe I don't have one. The clean canteen is thin, narrow. It will fit right in your cup holder, and it usually has the little nipple on it. That's why I enjoy it so much, because it has that little nipple on it, and you can.
Yeah, it's really awkward the way he rubs it for 30 seconds before putting his mouth on it.
Shh, don't
What is
tell
it called, Ed?
Nipple.
Clean canteen, and it's spelled with both are spelled with a K.
Okay.
KLEEN. Canteen is spelled with the K as well.
I'm gonna use the Google.
Well, and here's the thing about Clean Canteen. A guy in California, of course, California, produced the Clean Canteen back in the 1970s because he was concerned about people and water bottles. So he came out with this product. He produced it right in his garage or something like that. And he came out with this water bottle with a cork top on it originally. Now it has the little top with the nipple on it. But,
Yeah. Fun fact, I was also produced in the garage.
yeah, well, okay. If you want to share that with everybody, sure.
I mean, we can reenact
Yeah,
it
I've
if that's
seen
what
these.
you're asking, but what? Andrea?
Promises.
I
I've seen these.
got a couple comments to read here. Wait, you've seen me in the garage? Wait, what?
No, the canteen. So, like, I have a metal coffee cup that I use all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And we have
I
been
love those.
definitively trying to move to more glass and metal for
Same here.
reusable items instead
In
of
the house.
plastic. Hey, is Yeti all metal?
Yeti is all, well, the outside of it is not metal. It's plastic.
Okay.
But let's face it, if you spend that money on a Yeti, it's not going to end up in the landfill anytime soon.
No, those
No,
things are
it's not.
they're going to last 10 to 20 years per. And by the way, when we need one, the best place we found to get one is your kitchen, because there's a fucking cabinet full of them.
The This is true. Well, yeah, here we
Read
go.
read a couple comments if I may. And there it is right there. Hey. Maria says, I just drink tap water when I don't want to refill my 5-gallon water in the pipe sticking out of the hill down the way. By the way, I love the fact that she walks down the hill and gets, I don't know, I assume it's a wooden bucket on a stick, and there's one on each side that she fills up and walks home with, as
Yeah.
she's pulling her oxen behind her.
The spring. Yeah. Walk
Yeah.
down to the spring and get water.
So, wow, Maria, that's got to be a workout if you're carrying your 5-gallon thing, because I have trouble just picking it up to put it on the
Right?
table.
Right? And then Tal says, in city and suburban areas, water here is really good, depending on the age of the pipes. We use a water filter jug, which, let me say that too. If you're going to go with plastic, just get the reusable. Even the water jugs we have, when we brought it home from the store, there are scratches all around the bottom because the company takes them, cleans them, refills them. Still not the best answer, but it's a better answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to carry a big thing like that in glass and drop it on my kitchen floor. Nope.
I remember when they were made of glass, and I'm sure some of them still are, but not mine.
Still are.
Yeah.
We still have milk bottles in the house that are made of glass, and we use those as water bottles now.
Yeah.
Teresa's brother came to visit several years ago, and he opened up the refrigerator door, and he's like, "You guys don't have any water?" I was like, "It's right there in the sink. It comes right out of the mountain, man." "You don't have bottled water?" It's like, "No, man. It's right there in the sink. It comes right out of the mountain." "Oh, we're gonna go get some bottled water." So he comes back to the house, and he's got this bottled water, and I'm looking at the labels like West Virginia spring water. It's like, Virginia water wasn't good for you, huh? It's the same damn thing. But hey.
Well, it's like, you want bottled water? Here, put it in a bottle. That's so crazy.
But the last statistic on this, well, I just said it, the 50 billion uh, uh, bottles of bottled water. But now plastic in our bodies. Blade and bow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I figured I'd try the blade and bow tonight. It actually has a
Mm-hmm.
key on it, and there's like 7 different keys. And if you buy the bottles and get the 7 different keys, you're automatically entered into a little private club.
To Narnia. You can unlock Narnia.
Okay, Ed, I feel like you had a lot more to go into, so why don't you grab another
Yeah,
chunk and shovel it out?
yeah. Maria says, and I am guilty of that. I do, however, like to keep some bottled water in the car for when I forget my reusable cup. And of course, they say, whoever the fuck they are, that's where you're not supposed to keep water because the heat hits the plastic and the plastic begins to break down, and
Right.
then that plastic can get into your body, and that's where we get plastic in our penis.
Well,
Microplastic.
you want to go, Andrea, and then I'll say my thoughts here?
Yeah, go ahead, Andrea.
Okay, so yeah, they sell this stuff that is also reusable plastics,
Mhm.
but you can't put it in the microwave. If you heat it up or anything like that, it microplastics
Sorry.
in your penis.
Yeah, and Tao just said, "Oh, so we come full circle."
Yeah, I totally. Oh, water bottles. I forgot what I was going to say. I got distracted here. I don't like tea bags. Okay, I won't do that to you, Tal, but let's talk about that later. It's, with water bottles, Andrea and I, we keep 6 to 12 on top of the fridge because, frankly, if one day we have to, if there's a forest fire rolling in, if there's a whatever happens, we want to be able to grab something like that instead of a 5-gallon bucket of water.
Right.
Because we have so many cats to gather up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Andrea,
So, go ahead.
at some point in time, you might want to share your research into tea bags with Tal before the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But I don't
But
want to.
now I'm just
And now's a good time because we're gonna start talking about microplastics. So go ahead, Andrea. Sure.
Oh, I thought that's what we were talking about the whole time. Okay, so I read the scientific study about microplastics and tea bags and all this other stuff. I use tea bags. I put my own herbs in tea bags. When they say microplastics are in it, it's not all of them. Not the ones that have been around forever. It's these new nylon things, and
Nylon bags. Yep.
yeah, and then once you add the water to it, it kind of microplastics. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So I thought you found out some other stuff. Is that pretty much the summarization, Andrea?
That's summarization, yes, because this is
Okay.
Go with it, baby.
We
Go
can
with
go as long as we want.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, getting into the microplastic things, like I said at the beginning of the show, they did away with plastic straws because it's bad for the environment. Some states, some localities have done away with plastic bags because it's bad for the environment. But you walk into the store and every damn thing is in plastic. If it's in plastic and you consume it, you're getting microplastics in your body. That's the bottom line. It's happening. Some things they have found out about microplastics. 4 out of 5 men who suffer from erectile dysfunction, they have found microplastics in their penis.
Wait, let me ask you. Is that just because they happen to check the penises? Or once they found it, they determined that was partially or helpful with the erectile dysfunction? Because I know some people
No,
I'm going to
they
give a
didn't
lot
put.
more plastic.
Yeah, I know they put plastic or plastic like rubber thingy to help them, but no, they have checked them
Okay,
and found
so just because they
microplastics in them.
found it doesn't mean that caused it.
Doesn't mean it caused it, okay?
But it doesn't mean it
But
didn't.
but there has been a lot of research done on microplastics, and they have been able to link it to things such as dementia, mood
Mm-hmm.
swings, depression,
1 second.
ADHD.
Ed, I'm sorry to interrupt. Maria,
Right?
thank you so much for that
What you do?
subscription.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
Hold
for
on
your
while
39
Cogsley
support.
months.
says to cheer.
Damn,
Yeah,
girl, you
yeah.
go.
Thank you so much. Okay, carry on, Ed.
Mood swings, depression, ADHD, infertility, cardiovascular disease, and the list can go on and on and on. Um,
well, if you're
uh,
getting little plastic spikes in your brain, yeah, that's gonna fuck things up.
Glad you mentioned brain. Recent studies
Yep.
have found, on average, 7 grams of microplastics in the average adult's brain. That's the equivalent of an entire plastic spoon in all of our brain,
You know where else they're finding him, Ed?
in your penis.
Placenta.
Yes.
In
Not
unborn
in mine.
children.
Hmm. And some researchers believe this is the reason for so many problems with ADHD in unborn children.
I totally disagree with that.
Okay.
Here's why. I think ADHD has always been around in the amount we have it. Same with autism and a lot of these other things. We just didn't label it at a certain point in time. We told the kid to get over it and handle their shit.
And guess what? We did.
I know I still am getting over it and handling it. But no, it's still not a great idea to have all these plastics. So let me ask you, using a dildo or a vibrator made of plastic, you getting microplastics in you?
You are transferring microplastics into your body. Yes.
Uh-huh. Drinking
So
something
everybody, check your butts. Microplastic.
out of a 2-liter.
Yep.
Eating out of a bag of chips.
Yep.
Is that
Okay.
plastic?
Is that plastic?
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's my
I don't know if y'all
pause.
remember. Probably 15 years ago or so, they made these special sun chips. They made this special bag that was compostable, but they were so loud. They got rid of them. We need to bring those back.
Go fresh.
Okay.
Let's talk about fresh. What about when your broccoli is wrapped in saran wrap?
Don't buy that shit.
Are you getting microplastics? What about when you grab that plastic bag off that little roller at the grocery store and throw your fresh vegetables into it? What
I have
about
a
when
fish
you
bag for that.
what about
So
What about styrofoam?
The world produces 26 million tons of styrofoam a year.
And what we're getting from there is not so much the microplastics in our body, but the CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. I'm missing that up.
Yeah, the fluorocarbon.
But basically, when it breaks down, it releases a gas into the atmosphere that is toxic. What are you saying, Andrea? Or Ed?
So, speaking of microplastics in the body, now, plastics do have some advantages, and I hope they never get rid of them.
Oh
Medical
yeah, I love my
facilities,
clock.
medical facilities, surgery,
Mm-hmm.
disposable one-use plastics for that because of contamination and things.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when they're doing surgeries and using the plastic, isn't that putting plastic in your body too?
Absolutely.
I think that's worth the risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
But that stuff,
yeah.
I feel like it should stay around because,
Mm-hmm.
contamination and things. Now, here is something. There was a study. I don't have it in front of me, but they got rid of the plastic straws and went for those shitty paper cardboard ones.
And put them in plastic wrap.
No, well, maybe,
They
but
did.
the glue that holds it together is more toxic. It's very toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's more
and I'd
toxic
say,
short term. The plastic lasts a lot longer than that glue, though.
yeah, but it's toxic. You're ingesting this toxic
Mm-hmm.
because as you drink in the liquid and the stuff, and God forbid if it's hot or whatever, that gets in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they could say, get rid of straws, ban straws. That is not feasible because there's some people that have to have them. Just
But
saying.
then people say they could use a metal one or a glass one, which they could. I would just say use a permanent reusable straw, and permanent being
Sure.
flexible term,
Yeah.
5 years, 6
But
years.
again, in hospitals,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That's true.
because there's some patients that have surgeries and things, they can't move their head or whatever, and they have to have the straw in order to ingest that liquid.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to give them a metal or a glass straw or have to reuse it because
Right.
sanitary issues.
There's also a
So,
problem
You
with
can sterilize that metal straw.
right. The problem with the metal straw is a few things. First of all, if it's hot liquid, that shit will burn you. If it's cold liquid, that shit will freeze you. And also, the good side of the metal straw is you can sharpen one end, not the end you drink from and stick your tongue against, but the other end, and you can make a fucking unicorn out of the person that ignores you. Just like, this is what Swiss cheese is made like.
no.
No.
Anybody
No.
remember Tupperware back in the day when
Oh, yeah.
microwaves first came along?
Hey, we still have a Tupperware butter container.
You throw that Tupperware in the microwave and it cooks your stuff, and there's all the bubbly and cracks of plastic in there. I remember seeing that the first time, and I was a kid, and I was like, that can't be good.
You know what the worst plastic out there is, Ed?
What's that?
Totally not trying to be inappropriate here. I'm not
Block.
hating on anybody. It's the black plastic. Because in
Yes.
general, that's the plastic that has been recycled the most, thus the most is falling off. So I have plastic coffee
more
cups with a
fragile.
black
Yeah.
inside. Or the black silverware we have at work that our workplace gives out.
The
Plastic.
one-time use. And there has been studies and articles lately saying get rid of your kitchen utensils that are that black plastic because it's bad. It does break down more, and sometimes it's like made from old tires or other things that you
Mhm.
don't want to put heat on because
Hey, speaking of tires, did you know most of us are ingesting tires every day?
Sure.
Because as we drive down the road, that friction on the road tosses
down.
out microparticles that you then suck in. And you go, well, I got my windows up. Look,
You breathe in. You
air's
breathe
got to
in.
get in your car. And also, you
Mhm.
got to get out of your car at some point.
it's on your clothes, it's on everything. Oh, so we did discuss before how people age differently now
Mm,
than they did back in the day. It's because we're all non-biodegradable. We're plastic.
We're plastic.
I'm just a Barbie boy living in a Barbie world.
And that's the show, folks. Good night.
Yeah.
Are we out of content? Should we wrap this up with
I-
closing thoughts and get out of
I
here?
have no more to add. We talked about plastic. I mean, plastic. Yeah, it has its purposes. I mean, hell, I'm sitting here with my keyboard, my monitor, my microphone, my cell phone, turning on the AC here because it's burning up. It has its uses. It has its purposes. But I think we all would be a lot better off if we became more conscious about single use plastics and
Right. And
try
recycling.
to, yeah.
Andrea, any closing thoughts for you?
Change one thing makes a big difference. Go from one-use plastic sandwich bags to the reusable ones. Makes a difference.
I
Okay.
wrap my sandwiches in a napkin.
We use reusable containers, and we started buying glass containers for it.
Yeah.
For my closing thought, I'll share what I learned. Don't sharpen one end of your metal straw and make people into unicorns. Apparently, that's wrong, according to some people on the show.
I don't understand.
I want to thank everybody for hanging out, Maria, Tal, and the others who threw their opinions in here. I do appreciate that. We're going to go get another round, so make sure you join us for that next round. You can email us at talkofthetavernshow@gmail.com. I should check that email in case it didn't send me notifications. But, yeah, come join us for another excellent round and chit-chat session about something that we either care a lot about or no longer want to care about at all. Check out the other episodes and share a little bit with a friend. And then share the show with someone else. Yeah.
And
So,
don't tell two friends.
okay, catch you next time. Good night, everyone.